Welcome back to the third video in this week's lesson. And we're going to be going over selecting files, selecting multiple files. There are a couple of ways to select more than one file. And the first way, we have a lot of files, right? We've been saying that quite a few times here. If you have something like these icons here, right? All these little icons. If you want to just quickly grab these ones up here and move them, say, into this folder here, you can do that by left click and dragging down. You'll see it start to make like a box, right? And you just drag over those items that you want to select. You see that? So now that we have those selected, they're all highlighted. I left clicked, I drug down to make that box, I drug over those items, and I let go of my left click button at that point. And now it highlighted those items. Now at that point, all you have to do is you can either do a Control X and a Control V to put them somewhere else, or you can left click and drag them somewhere. You see now the icon that you see there looks like it has a couple different files there. It says it has a number 6 too. That tells you, hey, you're dragging 6 files. So that's how you can do that. That's one way to do it. Another way that you can select specific files is, say for instance we have these files here, and I only want a couple of these files. Maybe I want this one. So if I hold down my control button on my keyboard and left click that one, just single left click, boom, it selects that one. And I keep holding down my control button with my pinky there, and I want to select this one too. So as I'm holding down that control button still, I left click again, and you'll notice that both of these are selected. Now this is very helpful when you have situations like this. We have all this mess of stuff here, and maybe I only want this file, and maybe this file. You can't drag and select all those by dragging. So what you got to do instead is use the control method. So hold down the control button, select this file, hold down the control button, keep holding it down, select this file with your left click, just single left click, we're not holding it down, we're just doing a single left click, and then single left click this one, also while holding down the control key. So during that whole process, you're holding down your control key. Now, just like before, you can either Control X and Control V to move it somewhere, or you can left click and drag it, and you'll see it has number 3 there. It's telling you you're dragging 3 files, and you can move it wherever you want. Okay, so there's also another way that you can do this. Like say for instance, in our other example, we had all, we had this file. I'm going to throw something else here too. So I'm going to throw these files in here, right? There's 3 files. And I did that again just by left clicking and dragging those files over to this folder, from this folder to this folder, and I dropped them in there by letting go of my left click mouse button. So what we can do is, if we wanted to move all these files, and maybe we wanted to move this whole folder, maybe I'm like, you know what, I want this folder to be in this folder. I don't want it to be there, but let's just do it just for the sake of example here. So I'm going to left click and drag that folder to this folder, and I'm dropping it in here, and you'll see now this folder is in this folder here. It's in its new home, right? But I don't want it there, so we're going to go ahead and put it back over there. Now here's something that you may not know. A lot of people don't know this. If you drag something over here and you say, oh, you know what, I don't want it there after all, you can do a Control Z, which if you remember from our past lesson is to undo. Control Z, and that'll pop it back over to its original folder. So that's something to to remember. And Control Y will redo, but you almost never use Control Y. So that's a way that you can remove your move your folder over, and that folder will also move all of the contents within that folder. So these 3 files, if we move this folder over to here, when we double click on it, those files are going to be here now, and they're in this new file path. Okay. Okay, so now how do you select all of the files, right? So there's a couple ways to do this again. The same way that we did before is, if it's really simple to just drag over all of them, left click and drag and draw a box over it, you can select all your files like that, but there's an easier way. Hotkey Control A, like Apple, that selects everything. And then you can either click and drag it somewhere, do Control X, Control V, or maybe you don't want to move them from here. Maybe you just want to do Control C to copy it, and then put it on like a flash drive or something along these lines. You could do a Control A, Control C, and just for the sake of example, if I go to this folder and I create another folder, let's call it Backup. Photo Backup, and I double click in this folder and I do a Control V. Now you'll notice that when I change the view, we have those photos in here. You see that? They're in the Photo Backup, and if we go to this folder, the previous step, you can see those photos are there as well, and this is that Photo Backup folder. And you can see there, it even shows a preview of the photo there, which is that one. Okay, so that is how you can move your files, multiple files, in multiple ways. Oh, before I let you go, there is one other way. What you can do is, if we select this one, we hold down our Shift key, and we select this one, it's going to select everything in between those two photos or files. So again, another example, if we click on this one and we click on this one, it'll select everything. This one to this one, it's only going to select those two. You just click on a file as you have the Shift button selected, and then we go ahead and select this one down here. Oh, give me a second here, this thing's kind of a little funky. So we hold down the Shift button. We're going to do this one here. We're still holding down the Shift button, and we left click. Selects everything in between. So that is your last way that you can select things. Okay? So we have one more video. I'll see you soon.